Okay, thank you very much indeed for attending the webinar, The Ultimate Way to Add More Value to Your MLM Team. If you hear a little bit of noise in the background, it's just our team members are still busy working away, so apologies for that. So first of all, thank you again for attending. What to do now is to move on to the next slide. So the webinar itself is the ultimate way to add more value to your M&L team. So I'd like to just say a big welcome and thank you very much. I myself is Derek Owen. I'm the host and I'm from Totem, and we deal with a number of support services for businesses like webinars, strategy, etc. And I'd like to introduce Ross Crawford today, who's one of our presenters.
Thank you, Derek. Hi, yes, my name is Ross Crawford and I'm a multiple business owner. I'm an ex-network marketer. So I'm here today with Derek to discuss how you can add more value to your network marketing teams.
Brilliant, thank you, Ross. Now, first of all, what I'd like to do is we're going to do a poll. Okay, so this poll is going to consist of key points around getting to know you on the actual webinar itself today. So, which is the best category that actually describes you? So here we go. So I'm about to grow my business. I am marketing. The team leader, currently running a small network. I'm a team leader currently running a medium large network, and I'm a network marketing advisor. Or I don't have a team, I'm just here to listen to hear what's going on. So what we're going to do is just finish that poll. Bear with me for a second. Okay, so we're going to end the poll. Okay, and you'll see there that roughly 100% of the people that are on the call today are team members, team leaders, sorry, and they currently run a small network marketing team. Excellent. Okay, let me just go back to the slides. So on to the next slide. So what we're talking about here is, in terms of the statistics in the market today, around 100 billion annually is spent on incentives, business incentives. Along with that, we've got around 14% of those organisations that provide those incentives don't actually have the right tools. So what we're going to talk today is around about tools, but about incentives as well. 79% of businesses that do implement a reward system, an incentive system of the types that we're going to talk about today, see a 79% success rate. And then if you look at what we have today, around 84% of US businesses now use incentives, but at a micro bonus level to motivate their teams. A micro bonus is something you need to remember as we go through this webinar today. Okay, but what does it really mean? So really the key thing here is, first we have to ask, things like what motivates teams? How should we motivate them? What are actually successful businesses doing today? What are the tools available? And Ross is going to talk through some of those tools in a little while. And then, as I said before, what do these micro bonus incentives look like? How do we maintain flexibility and effectiveness? And actually, what does a good plan look like? And I think that's one of the key things we're going to discuss, isn't it? It's around,
yeah, definitely.
The whole kind of what does a plan look like? Okay. So very quickly, we'll move on to the second quick poll so that we can have an understanding about where you are on your journey. Okay, so the second poll we've got here is, how do you motivate your team? So I'd like you to just have a quick look. There's only a couple of polls, but it gives us an idea about what is actually going on. So how do you motivate your team? Do you use regular one-to-one sessions, team sessions, use webinars like today, through training initiatives, or you actually use a kind of a mix of all? So if you'd like to vote, that'd be really careful. And we're going to do actually, okay, we're going to then end the poll. So that's great. Thank you very much indeed. So now we're going to move on to the next part of the process, which is, how should you motivate your teams? So one of the key things here is to understand the drivers, the dreams of people and individuals and your team, to help them achieve them through effort and rewards. So what does that really mean?
Yeah, well, with that, Derek, it's all about, when you're looking at motivating your team, your team leaders can go ahead and just create incentives that they think will work, but that won't work or be effective, because motivating your team is about understanding what motivates each individual, and that differs from person to person. So you do really need to understand, like you've said, understand the drivers. What is it that motivates that individual, and then look at that across every member of your team, and then put incentives in place to help them achieve their dreams and their goals.
Okay, so what kind of what kind of successful businesses, what do they do in terms of motivating? So we've got things here like achievable targets, fun prizes, teamwork, timeframes, regular comms. And this is from the research that we've done around what are the key things. So Ross, talk us through what you think are the key things.
Well, successful businesses, obviously, when they're looking at creating incentive schemes, first of all, they think about what the targets are, what's going to be the criteria for the incentives. But what's important in successful incentive schemes, and what in businesses that do it successfully, is that they make them achievable. There is no point putting incentives in place that have amazing prizes that nobody can achieve, because it will just demotivate everyone for not being able to achieve it. So achievable targets is very key there, and fun and flexible prizes. So have different prizes, as we said before, that motivate different people. So having a range of things from small to big, but having a lot of them, so that it's not just one person gets something at the end of it. It's a lot of your team members can achieve things at different levels, depending on where they are and the amount of the effort or the results that they get.
So in terms of that, so achieving targets, you're setting targets for people and individuals, but you're working with your team to set those targets, correct?
Yes, because you need to understand what motivates your team, so you understand what motivates them, and then think about what are they achieving currently, and what do you want them to achieve, and what do you think they're capable of achieving, and then create a scheme around that.
And one of those motivations is creating sort of fun prizes. You're talking about not the bog standard things, but other sort of different prizes that they help to select.
Yeah, exactly. It's understanding what motivates and drives them. And in network marketing, you'll have a good understanding, because everybody who joins the business in the first place has a why. They have a reason why they've joined, whether it's more freedom, more time with the family, they want to travel more, they want more money. There's different reasons, and you should know that from your team, from you would have found that out in the prospecting stage before they joined the business. So it's using that and understanding as that changes, if there's anything else that they're looking to achieve, or what they want.
And that comes into this piece where the last three around teamwork, around about the time frames.
Yeah, with time frames, it's about making it so that it's not like a yearly target where the people have got to work a whole year. It's reducing that down, but not making it so it's like weekly targets, because that won't be really challenging to manage, but also people can only achieve a small amount of that. So for me, I would suggest 12 weeks or 3 months being the best time frame to run it over. And then the last one here we've got is regular communications, and that is key to ensure that people are aware of what incentives are available, remind them that they're on track for it, and keep them motivated about the prizes that they can achieve.
Okay, great. Okay, so if we then have a quick one here, we've got the third poll. There are only 4 polls, so you're pleased to hear that. So we've got the third poll we're going to do, which is do you have an incentive program? Okay, so what we're going to do here is just publish the poll if you'd like to have a look for us. So that effectively says we have a company set incentive program and it works well. We have an incentive scheme, but we don't have control over those rewards, a bit that you talked about earlier. We are thinking of implementing an incentive rewards program, and I haven't really considered it. Okay, so I'd like you to have a quick vote for us, and then have a look there, and then we're going to publish stuff. You'll see there is 67% of the respondents have said that they have an incentive scheme, but they don't have control over it, and 33% say that they are looking to implement a program. So that's really cool. That's really, really cool. So let's go back to the slides. Now, what I want to get onto is, we talked about earlier about the tools. So it said there roughly only around about a small portion of businesses in the US are using tools today to actually motivate and incentivize people. So talk me through this in terms of the ones you put through today.
Yeah, because in terms of tools that are available to maintain motivation, you have to kind of think a little bit more creatively with this, because there's not necessarily lots of systems out there that offer a bespoke, here's an incentive package, sign up and run your incentives using this software.
Okay.
However, the things that are vital when you're creating an incentive program are performance stats. So you need to understand, firstly, when you're setting a criteria for people to achieve targets on, that you have that data available to ensure that they do hit the criteria.
Okay.
So if you can't measure it, then you can't set it as a target. So it's vital to be able to track and see if people are on track, if they're getting towards it. If so, you want to keep them motivated.
That's the measurement piece. Okay.
Exactly. And then you've got social media. And the reason social media has a key part to play in being a motivational tool is you can recognize people, tag them on the social media when they're on track to receive an incentive, to achieve an incentive. You can reward and recognize them once they've achieved it using social media. And people love it when they get a bit of recognition on social media, and then as you tag them in something,
business, yeah.
it helps their business. It gives them a boost, because then they'll have friends and family be commenting, congratulating them, and it's a great way to keep them motivated.
Okay.
And then speaking opportunities, again, this is not always for everyone, because some people might be too nervous, but if somebody's doing well, and has whether that's doing well consistently, or they've done a one-off big sale, and it's actually inviting them to talk about it and share their experiences. People love the fact that they've been asked to do it, whether or not they've got the confidence to do it. The fact that you've asked and you've believed in them, people, that will really motivate people to have that belief in them. And then experiences, and this goes on to kind of what we've touched on already, is having different or prizes or micro bonuses around experiences, memories that people can create. So whether that is skydiving or a family day out, or a short getaway, different experiences that people can strive for, and it will depend on those experiences will depend on what motivates those individuals.
So those kind of experiences then, I say, was probably traditionally they are set by a company or by a corporate. Is that correct?
Yes. At the moment, across all network marketing companies, as far as I'm aware, they're company set, and usually you might have like leadership teams who work with them and guide them on it. But it's, again, that's at a very top level they are set, rather than specific to individuals. Whereas best incentives will work if they're tailored towards the individuals within that team. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do is so what is the sort of the whole topic and the title of this webinar is, so what is the ultimate way to add more value and support for your MLM team? So in terms of what that is, it's really more about the kind of the answer to that. Okay?
Well, yeah, exactly. The answer to that, to the question about what is it to add the ultimate value, that is a tailor-made incentive scheme focused around micro bonuses. And as I said earlier, the micro bonuses are lots of little different incentives that will cover off all of the different motivations for your team members. Having one incentive in place is not going to work, or one prize, because not everyone wants the same thing. Okay. So you need to focus it on micro bonuses, mean lots of little things that can be tailored and bespoke and personalized to the team members that you have, which will all have different motivations and different desires.
So the uniqueness thing about this is the fact that we're saying it's a micro bonus.
Completely,
that's different to what's
because it's lots of little things, and companies do often do that. They have like tiered levels, but they're still probably quite valuable, so there's less of them. Was actually giving a lot of people a little thing. It gives them something that's achievable, and you're offering them more of a variety, and there is a huge different variety in terms of people's motivations within network marketing. Okay,
so what is a micro bonus? So I know we talked about a little bit there. We want you to go into a bit more detail, because ultimately, for me, a micro bonus, it sounds like it's a small offering, but that's probably not really what you're coming from, is it?
No, well, with a micro bonus, it doesn't necessarily need to be small. It just needs to be lots of different things, basically variety, because within a team you have a variety, as I say, of different motivations, different needs, different drivers for people in terms of what they're willing to work for. So for some people that might be travel. Some people want to be able to travel the world, and again, that doesn't need to be huge expensive trips, although they're amazing for some people. Some people just want weekend getaways. Some people want getaways in the same country. You've got other things such as training courses. Some people would just like it if maybe their tickets to some of the events they're attending were paid for, or maybe there's a specific course that they'd have to contribute money towards to learn more about the products. But if that was to be something they could have for free, then that could be the incentive for them, because they're so driven about making their business successful, but they're giving them additional training, which otherwise they would have paid for, is a massive incentive for them. And you've got simple things like hotel stays, weekend getaways, because things like that, like hotel stays, it might be that people wouldn't justify that disposable income to be able to do that. But actually, to be able to get that, it's different. If you gave somebody £50 or £100 and asked them to do that, they probably wouldn't, because could they justify that? But actually they could do other things with it. Whereas actually, if you gave them a voucher just for that, they have to, which means they're creating that experience and getting that nice time for themselves that otherwise they probably wouldn't justify.
So actually, I mean, what's quite relevant here is that obviously a lot of the incentives programs that we've come across in sales environments in the past have been very much like, there's 26 places to, say, Vegas, or there's 26 places to somewhere else in the world, Thailand, etc. What you're really saying here is that rather than having that yearly annual right there as an achievement, where you're you've got some forerunners that are really getting on well, and that's being motivated, if you like, by sales and leads, if you like, or end results. What you're saying here is there's a slight difference to this in that you can actually motivate people different ways.
Yes, definitely. And the thing with network marketing particularly is that people do lose interest sometimes running their businesses, maybe because they don't see the success they're getting, maybe they get more rejection. And so to keep them motivated is give them lots of little wins, because there's a lot of rejection in the industry, we know that, and it is about powering through that. So actually giving them lots of little wins along the way, it uplifts them. And that's a massive positive for the industry, and it will keep people engaged with it, because otherwise people can drop off or they can lose interest. It's very easily done, and it's well known for that. So small little bonuses, that things that people can achieve along the way, will really, really help drive business growth.
And I think probably the other thing as well is there is obviously a need to change the frequency as well, isn't there? So it's not just having a set of sort of standard micro bonuses and going, right, that's it for the year. Is it something about keeping the interest?
Yeah, definitely.
How does that work?
Yeah, you want to have different incentives that change on a regular basis with different prizes, because again, you don't want to keep it there, and there's that entitlement of people expecting it, because people will lose interest in and won't be motivated by something that they can achieve every 3 months. Was actually, if it's something different, something exciting, but still focused around the different drivers and the different motivations of people, but just mix it up, keep it interesting, and keep people engaged with it, and that will keep them motivated.
Okay. I like this. This is really good, in terms of the way that you can talk about, things like the courses, the different things. That sort of appeals to me, in that I'm not motivated by one thing. And also a lot of the time it could be about effort, and as you said. So we're going to move on to one of the final polls. So let me just click on over. So what incentive prizes appeal to your team? Okay. So if you bear with me for a second, we're going to start this one. What incentives? Okay, and then we're going to publish that now. So if you wouldn't mind having a quick look, what incentives? So travel, experience related, team and skills related, financial reward, recognition, a good mix of the above, that kind of thing. So if you wouldn't mind just having a quick click there for me, and then vote. Okay, just give that a few seconds to update on the system.
This will be really interesting, because I have an idea on what I think the results will be from this, but we'll see when they're finished coming in. Okay,
so here we have as an end poll. You see there, so about 33% say definitely with recognition, and we've got 67 saying a mix of the above, so that includes. So there's actually quite a strong thing around recognition.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The 67% of people there have said it's a good mix, and that's exactly kind of where I was saying the micro bonuses work, because it's all about giving people variety and different people's different needs. And recognition kind of comes within everything, because you get recognised by the rewards that you get. So by having those different prizes and different incentives in place, people can achieve different things, and they get recognised for it.
Okay, so effectively, how do we then make these incentives you're talking about more effective?
Well, to make the incentives more effective, there's lots of different ways, but I put this down, kind of like thought about what are the four ways in which most people can make their incentive schemes more effective. And the first one is rewarding effort as well as results, because it's in incentives across not just network marketing, but across all companies, they always reward results. And I'm not saying don't reward results, definitely reward results. However, look at the effort people are putting in, because some people try really, really hard, but it's maybe they need more training, they haven't got the right contacts, they're doing something wrong, and it's more about actually shows that they have a support, but they're putting the effort in, and therefore they should be rewarded for that, because otherwise people do lose interest, because they feel like they're trying really, really hard, but then just not getting the results. So rewarding effort as well as results is a key one there. And having incentives that are in place for teams as well as individuals. And the reason that works really well is because some people are driven and motivated by helping and working as part of a team, and they will be motivated because they don't want to let the team down. So that will work for them. So
It's a team-based thing,
Well,
right?
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
as well.
But
So
some people are motivated about themselves and what can I
Yeah.
get. Other people are about, oh God, this is what the team are getting. I want to contribute.
okay.
And then I've got ask your team what they want to see. Again, this goes back to everyone's motivated by different things, so we need to speak to them, find out from them what would they like to see. I mean, it's like if I asked you, Derek, what would motivate you?
Things like track days, skiing opportunities, that kind of. So more of that kind of activity based. But I know that's not exactly what most of my team would be inspired by. Some of them would be inspired by, spa day and things like that, which at the end of the day is something they want to do and they enjoy.
Exactly, and that's why the best way. There's no point second guessing. Ask them. Ask your team. It's a simple thing, but often people forget it and they just assume or they think that they know what is best, but everyone's different. So get out there and ask your team, and then you're really going to get an incentive scheme in place that's going to work for them. And the last one I put down here is kind of the fourth most important one, I think, is having it a flexible scheme that is scalable, made up of micro bonuses that change frequently, as I said earlier, so that there's not that entitlement of, oh, every 3 months I can win a MacBook. I mean, you don't want people to assume that they can always have the same things, or the same goals are going to be there. Make it be like, if they really want this, they've got to work for it now because it's going to be different next month, and they don't know what's coming. So keep that excitement there, keep them engaged.
So that kind of really, in that instance, then it's about keeping the momentum going within your team, asking them the types, so that you have some people that are achieving their certain targets, financial targets if necessary, but some people might be putting so much effort in, they've had 15, 20 different meetings and it actually hasn't come to what they'd hoped, but they've been out there, and therefore what you're saying is create micro bonuses on a kind of level that actually covers off everybody in terms of their skill set. And
that is exactly, as you know, Derek, you've got your own business, we all put lots of effort in trying to get new business, but not everything comes off, and that's natural. It doesn't mean we haven't tried. I mean, I'm sure you've had experiences like I have in all of my businesses where we put lots of effort in, but then no results have come at the end of the day. But it doesn't mean you haven't tried, and that's why rewarding effort is really important.
Good. Okay, let's move on. So how can you measure effectiveness? So we talked a little bit earlier around effort versus results. So talk us through a little bit here, in terms of some of the key things around how you can measure effectiveness.
Well, at the moment, lots of businesses, the way in which incentives are run, and lots of, particularly in network marketing as well, is it's based around the number of sales, largest sales orders, most contacts added to a contact list, or number of new prospects coming through. Most people, most sponsors within a certain period of time, or recruits. Most active team member, overall team performance, or biggest uplift in sales or sponsors, and all of these are great ways to be able to measure if an incentive is effective and if somebody's done well. However, as I said earlier, these all focus around the results-driven criteria, which is great, and it definitely needs to be there. But there is definitely room for the effort-based measurement. However, I do understand that currently or historically there has not been anything out there that provides the data available to be able to measure based on people's activity, and that's where it's probably been left behind because it's not been easily measured.
Okay, so that's kind of a key difference, isn't it? If we look at the list on there at the moment, we talk about sales, largest sales order, most contacts. They are legitimately driven business key performance indicators. When you then look at things like most active within the team, that's actually a little bit more harder to actually measure, I would have thought, and also overall team performance. How do you measure overall team performance on effort?
Yeah, well, again, that can be it. And I think at the moment, most of the overall team performance is being measured on overall team sales or actual results. But actually, if you could measure it based on effort, so number of messages team is sending, or number of prospects they're adding to their list, actually number of tasks they're completing, number of events that team are running, because it takes a lot of activity and consistent activity to get results. So actually rewarding based on results and based on the efforts put into running lots of events and doing lots of activity, that should be rewarded, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be that in that given period of time the most have the best results. But over a long period of time, the ones who are most active will be the most successful, because you get great results with very little effort initially, because you could be part of luck or whatever. You can put some effort in, speak to the right people, but then unless you continue putting lots of effort in, you go into your business will die down. So effort is definitely a key driver.
So let's have a look now. So what does a micro bonus incentive scheme look like?
Okay, Derek, I can give you an example here. If you move on to the next slide. And so let's say if you have an incentive budget of £1,000 for a quarter, what could £1,000 do for your team?
Okay. Give us some examples.
So within £1,000, let's say for your team, you could give them a £200 travel voucher, could be, say, your top prize. And then the next one could be, next level down could be 5 Pamtree experiences of £50.
So you kind of giving different options that are available for that amount.
Yeah,
of money.
again,
Okay.
exactly. So I say you have your travel vouchers as your top prize at £200, but actually you can get, as the slide showed, you can get a weekend for a week or a break for 2 for that, and then having some Pamper vouchers available. And if you're looking at the right places in terms of giving vouchers, the reason vouchers work really well is because they can get different deals on different websites. If you bought something up front, you'd get a lot less value in it. But actually, if you gave them a voucher and allowed them to apply it where they wanted to or buy it where they wanted to, they could get the best offer at that time.
Okay. The next one you've got here is experience vouchers.
Yeah, exactly. So you could get, for example, we're still within the £1,000 budget. We've got a £200 travel voucher. We've got 5 £50 Pamper experiences, and then 10 £35 experience vouchers.
So we're building up a number of different sort of
for different drivers. Spas and relaxing, travel vouchers for people who want to travel. Experience vouchers covers a whole range of things, whether it's family cruises there, or indoor skydiving, or a child's photo shoot. I mean, you can get a range of different things within the experience vouchers, which covers almost a lot of different drivers
and levels of activity. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and you can get a lot. There's lots of good deals consistently out there that are changing that you can get high value items for actually these small amounts. So you, as I said, you could get somebody a family day out on the Thames cruise actually for the sake of what would actually only cost the incentive £35, but for that family, that experience, that memory, that's priceless.
So all of these different incentives and bonuses, etc. If we look at some of the businesses out there today, the MLM businesses out there today, they already have their incentive programs, don't they?
Yes, they do. But what's the difference between that and having your own team ones is you're finding out exactly what motivates your team. You're running incentives. So within this example, as you can see, the last one here, we've got 20 £10 VAT gift vouchers, to which equals £200. So in total, that's 36 prizes within £1,000 incentive budget. Yeah. And that budget could be made up of what? 100 people, 200 people. Gotcha. So actually, if you're giving 36 prizes away within your team, that's a high percentage, rather than, say, 100 prizes going between the whole company where there is hundreds of thousands or millions of distributors. Yeah. Okay. I mean, and that's the difference, because your team feel like it's achievable, and there actually is a lot for a lot of people to achieve. Okay, so if we sum that up, then what we're really looking at here is 36 micro bonuses. Yeah, well, that is exactly it. 30 for £1,000 budget, you're getting 36 micro bonuses. But what does that mean? And that means 36 very motivated team members within your team. Yeah. And that's the important thing. Rather than the company running incentives and maybe one of your team getting it, this is 36 of them out of just £1,000 incentive over a quarter. That is, which is, again, it's a small amount of money given of what it could do for the business as a whole. Yeah. If you've got that, and 36 people have achieved something. Okay. So what if you could have an even bigger incentives budget and have someone else to pay for it? So how does that work? Yeah, well, you can, and you can also now reward effort as well as results. Before you couldn't, but now you can. Okay. How do we do that then? How's that going to work? Well, as I said earlier, I've got a few different businesses. I was in network marketing historically, and for the last 2 years I've been creating a platform called Pamtree, and this platform enables you to do just that. The Pamtree itself is an app, a business app to run your network marketing business, and it reduces admin. You can manage your contacts, centralizes all team resources. You can track your prospects, and it provides detailed reporting, enabling you to reward on effort, because it looks at how many tasks people are completing. It looks at how many messages they're sending. It looks at how many contacts they're adding to their contact list. And so that enables you to then recognize them based on effort as well as on results. So effectively you've looked and gone over all of the kind of research and everything, and you've identified the tools that are out there today, and then you've identified some
areas of effort reporting for incentives, and that's what you've come up with.
It's exactly. This is a business app that helps them run their business most effectively, whether they're on the move. You can use it on the web, on an iPad, on iPhone, Android. So it makes it really easy to run your business. But it's all focused around the team, duplication, and as we say here, this program I'm going to talk through now, which is all around the incentives. It's the One Dream, One Team, One Dream program. And in this program, it's all about, all you've got to do is recommend the leading business apps to your team. And by doing that and getting your team on there, it then enables you to be able to monitor your team's performance, as you can see how many tasks they're completing, how many prospect messages they're sending, how many contacts they're adding to who's you know list, how many customer orders they're getting, what their highest customer orders are. You can really see the effort that's going in as well as the results, because the results information you already have, but as well as that you can identify the trends within your team and reward and recognize the effort as well as the results, which, as I've said throughout this whole webinar, it's really important, because a lot of people will drop out because they're trying really hard but they're not seeing the results. Keep them motivated, because the results will come, and sometimes people need that motivation to keep them there. And best of all, within this One Team, One Dream scheme, One Team, One Dream program, we at Pamtree, we will fund the incentives for your team up to £4.50 per active user. So we will actually pay them and reward them and put that money towards a contribution for your team incentive. So if I give you an example of what that could look like, if in this example here, as you'll see on screen in a second, it's we've got Julia. If Julia has 1,000 team members in her team and they're all active using the app, and the app again, this includes them all just using the free standard version of the app. They don't need to pay to qualify for the One Team, One Dream program. So 1,000 members, the incentive budget would be at £4.50 per quarter per user, £4,500 for that quarter. And out of that, just to give you an example here, we have created 86 incentives. So that is 1 MacBook Air, 5 theatre and dinner tickets up to the value of £100 each, 10 £100 John Lewis vouchers, 20 £50 Amazon vouchers, and 10 M&S vouchers. So that's 86 incentive prizes for Julia's team of just 1,000. That's 8.6% nearly. Sorry, is that 8.6? Yes, 8.6% of her team are going to qualify for a prize in a 3-month period. That's a huge amount.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, I would assume that's much higher than the percentage-wise than anything you get globally.
But I think the important thing here is what you're saying is that this program gives the network marketing team leaders the flexibility they don't have today.
Yes, exactly, because they decide, as a team leader, you work with your team, you speak to them, understand what they want, understand their motivators, and then you understand where your team is as a business today, and what you think they can achieve within it. And so you can push your business up. If you want an increase by 5%, you work out where that's going to come from. Is it selling products or services? Is it through prospecting? Is it a mix of both? Where's your area of growth? Have you got 10% which are growing rapidly anyway, which you'd want to reward maybe with some kind of scheme, but then you've got the 95% of them that they actually need more help at the lower end. So the incentive scheme will actually mainly focus on helping that 95% the first time round, because that's your biggest area of growth as a whole team. And it's really working out, you as a team leader, working out where the business growth can come from and working with your teams, what might motivate them to help you achieve that business growth.
And this is also using, this isn't using any budget that's existing today. This is them being, if you're rewarded through Pamtree for their team using Pamtree.
Yes, exactly. Because I'm not saying if your company run incentives, yes, you still use them. If you have one-to-ones with your team members, yes, you should still do that, because that will motivate them. You should still recognise them in social media. This here is just an additional incentive scheme, but it's one that will be really, really effective because it's tailored to your team. The prizes are paid for by us, and you can make the budget go really far, and a high percentage of your team, and that's your team, not just team members within the company, your team win prizes. And imagine what that will do for their social media and for the people watching them when they're winning these things. Every 3 months you're giving 86 prizes away, for example. That's a huge amount, and some of these people are only in their businesses to earn a few £100s a month. So imagine what if they were to get £100 John Lewis voucher. That for them is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's just say in this example, there was 10 of those that were given away out the 86 prizes.
Oh, I quite like the MacBook Air. If that's, I'll have that. If that's okay.
It depends if you meet the criteria and work hard enough.
So how do people get onto this? Because obviously this is slightly different to, I would say, anything that I've seen in network marketing. So how does it? What do they need to do next?
Yes. So, well, with this One Team, One Dream program, it's on we're offering it on a first come, first served basis. And we're looking for 10 trial partners. We're going to be launching this in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So very, very soon. We're just finalising a few details at the moment, but it is going to be launched in the next six to 8 weeks. Registrations are opening now, and we're offering them to you guys on here exclusively first. So if you are interested, then you can register, and we will share the link with you so that you can register to say you're interested. I think it may be popping up on your screen, so do click through if you are interested and complete the form, and then the first 10 people to do that, we will have the discussions with them, and if you meet the criteria, we will look to work with you and your teams to on the first One Team, One Dream incentive programs.
Okay, we'll just leave that offer up there for a few seconds, and whilst we're here, we're going to move on to the final part, which is to ask if there's any questions from the group of the process.
Okay,
here.
look, I can see the first one there. Yes. Okay, this is from Donald, and thank you, Donald. Donald's asked if this is works for all multi-level marketing companies, and yes, it does. It applies for. It doesn't matter whether you're selling products or services. We will be able to work with you. And part of this for us with the incentive scheme, it's developed so that it can work for everyone. However, there are, and I've learned this over the last 2.5 years developing Pamtree, that there are hundreds and hundreds of different network marketing companies, but from all the different that we've got on board using Pamtree so far as a product, there's not one that this program, this incentive scheme won't work with. However, it may be that we come up against one, but I'm sure there will always be a way we can work with you guys to see how do you put incentives in your place. You've all got teams, you're all trying to motivate them. We can offer funding for that. So we will work with anyone in any team to see how we can make it bespoke to you. And as it's bespoke to individual teams, it shouldn't be an issue doing it across different companies.
And Pamtree enables that measurement reporting as well, so that they can keep monitoring those different triggers.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Derek. So it gives you a level of reporting that is not currently available out there, because you can see how many sales people are doing, how many people are sponsoring, but actually can you foresee how your business is going to perform next month by seeing how active are people being, how many events are they doing, how many tasks are they completing, how many new contacts are they adding to their list, which is feeding the pipeline. You can see how many people are being sponsored, but actually you need to keep that pipeline full. So if you can identify that pipeline is dropping off, then you need to put incentives in place to motivate your team to drive more people, to add more people to their contact list to keep that pipeline full.
Another question, quite apt one. How do they find out about Pamtree? Sorry, how to find out more about Pamtree?
Yes, well, that's it. So, Claire, well, what you can do, obviously, there's the offer on there. So if you're interested in the program, you can register your details there. If you find out more about Pamtree, you can just drop us a message, and we will come back to you. Or you can visit the website pamtree.com. All the details are on there. You could register and have a play around with the account. But if you do want to be part of the One Team, One Dream program, do inquire first, because what your setup will be slightly different, and we will work with you to ensure your business, your application is set up to work with you around that scheme.
Okay. If you have any more questions, there's a few more there, but I think we're going to call it a day. We're going to respond back to everybody, and we'll send a note out to everyone there. Just a final poll then. We'd like to have some feedback on the webinar today. That would be very, very helpful indeed. Let me just pop over to the polls, and let's do the last one here. So we've got webinar feedback. So if you wouldn't mind, so webinar feedback, thank you very much. We'd like to discuss the One Team, One Dream. Thank you, definitely helped. What I need to do for my team, was informed, and I'll be watching for the next webinar, and also it was very, very informative, but not at the moment. So if you wouldn't mind voting now, that would be very helpful indeed. Okay, we're going to end the poll now, and then you'll see here That's great. A third of the people on the webinar said thanks very much. We'd like to discuss, so we can pass those details over to you, Ross.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you, Derek.
And then thank you. Definitely helped what I need, and we can then obviously follow up. And there's another webinar which is a bit more detailed. So that's effectively coming from Ross and the team. Next webinar says getting to know Pamtree.
Yes,
that's right, at the more detailed level.
So yes, on Thursday, the 8th of November at 8 p.m, we will be running the next webinar, Getting to Know Pamtree, which will be a walkthrough of the platform and how it can and what it can do for individual business owners as well as team leaders. So if you are interested in getting to know the product a little bit more and seeing how it can work to improve your business growth, or whether you're an individual or you're a team leader, then do register for that webinar as well.
Excellent. Ross, thanks very much indeed for joining me this evening.
Thank you for having me, Derek.
Look forward to the next one, and thanks very much for
Brilliant.
everybody else
Thank
on
you,
the webinar.
everyone.
Take care. Bye.